Recording in progress. Love it. See, I just staying busy. You know, I was looking at the prices of these and how quickly we booked, and I'm almost wanting to book 2 more houses, man. One in August and then one to Aruba more towards later in the year. Just because, I mean, this could be a full-time gig where I'm just traveling, making money. And of course, I'm a kiteboarding instructor as well. So, you know, doing lessons or critiques, video footage, things like that just makes more money. So super awesome. Who do we have? You can just join me if you like. Just get my part so don't waste any time. I don't want to do that, Sam. Skip your part. It's never a waste of time. Matter of fact, let's do the intro now. All right. So just in case you guys didn't know, my name is Tim, also known as the Overnight Coder. I've been designing directories for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that. And just built nonstop. I used to be a regular web designer, but now it just seems like directories are so high in demand that, give you an example, I'm working on 14 of them right now with a small staff that's helping me out, but they seem to come in daily. I found that just a little bit more on directories. I found the directories as a web designer, they make a lot more money than a lot of the other small niches, like a small business site, depending on what you're doing. But you know, just the better idea, just because you know you're number 1 in SEO, pop up in search terms, and I think that as long as you do them correctly, you really have a high market value for building directories. You know, so that's me. Sam is also here. I'm not going to do your intro, Sam, if you're available. If you aren't, I will give your intro easier, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, Sam from ListingPro team. I'm the product manager and one of the co-founders. So I'll be trying to jump in on many of the questions you guys post in the chat section. So yeah, just feel free to drop your website link and yeah, any other details you want to drop about yourself. That would be awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. So today's topic, off the top of my head, was definitely site revisions, which we've had a lot of insight and a lot of people want. We've watched people that come in with sites that could definitely use help. And today, you know, if you want to post a link at any point, keep in mind it's not just us 6, or you know, when more people join, it won't just be us. It's definitely people on YouTube as well. So keep that in mind when you're sharing a site. Also, the little disclaimer here is don't take anything too critical, right? I've been a web designer for 20 years, as well as we have another web designer in here. We have product managers in here. So if somebody says something, you know, critical about what they like and don't like, take it with a grain of salt, right? Whether you want to improve it, whether you not, whether you don't, you know, or whether you like something, it's totally up to you. Anything that I give will be from a web design standpoint and a yeah, you know, call to action type standpoint. So keep that in mind. Again, don't hate us if you decide to display a website and like, dude, you definitely need to fix this and this. We'll try to be courteous, but I'm sure you guys have seen my past videos. We rip these sites open. The good thing about that is people have come back week after week after week, and they have made some huge improvements. One of the ones that I can name off the top of my head was the Saudi help site. When I first looked at that, when we first ripped it open, it was looking pretty bad, you know, and 2 weeks later, he came back in and we'd like you to do the same and show us your improvements. And now that site looks great. I mean, it's a site that I would trust with my money. So again, we just use these for improvement. The second thing was a little bit of style and design. So if we get into revising websites, maybe we show you a little bit more on styling and design with your directory. And then of course, the third thing is questions and answers. At any point during this conversation, if you've never joined one of our meetings, feel free to raise your hand in Zoom. If there's a break in chat or a break in somebody talking, go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead and speak up. We won't hold you to that. I mean, that's super cool where you can just talk in if there's a break point, and then you can always ask questions in chat. Some people just don't like to voice out. They just, you know, like to chat it out. I will be going through the chat box as often as possible, but let's get started. So I'm just going to scroll up a little bit in chat already. We had local head shop finder, which is great. I'm going to pull that site up in here in just a moment. We're just going to finish. Yeah, feel free to introduce yourself, like Sam said, also from the chat. And we'd love to you know, kind of get some feedback or give you feedback or whatever we can do to help. Also, please subscribe to our channels. As Sam posted in the group, we have some wonderful channels. You know, my YouTube channel will show you everything you need to know about ListingPro, as well as we record and post these. So there's a lot of good tips and tricks on there. And then ListingPro has a wonderful Facebook group, as well as I have a Facebook group. And I'm sure we'll show you those. So one final thing, I really enjoy the Facebook groups, even though I'm like the type of guy who thinks I know everything about ListingPro because I've built so many directories with it. I'm always finding new ideas. Like even, you know, with my experience, like there's always somebody out there saying, hey, look what we did, or look at what could be done, or ideas. So I like to stay in there for that, as well as the updates. And we tend to help out a lot in those groups. All right, let's jump in. I think that's the chat. We do have a couple sites, so I'm going to share my screen, and we'll jump right into shopper revisions. So share screen. Let's pick one. Local head shop. Oh, you're not going to like me. Sorry, I'll tell you why. All right. So this is Joe's, right? Yeah. Joe, so I like what you've done here, right? I definitely like what you've done. This is Joe's site, local headshot finder. And as we scroll down, you'll notice that it really has that ListingPro look, right? And I'm not opposed to that, but after seeing 70 or 80 designs, I'm not too keen on it, right? The standard blue that ListingPro uses. I know that head shops are normally, like I do a little bit of color research. So I would look up color palettes that fit his niche, and everybody knows what color we would automatically find for the niche. It doesn't mean he has to stick with a green, right? But this standard blue that's in his theme options, I definitely swap that out. You know, this just screams ListingPro. I will show you a couple designs. You know, you just get, I mean, even, what was that? Sam, it was Moto Peeps. I'm gonna pull up a couple of these just
yeah. I'm gonna drop some cannabis directory examples that I think have done a good job as well. So
yeah, no
Joe, just watch out.
Take
I
a
started
look
looking at other people's sites because once I got into the Facebook group and realizing, because I was kind of struggling with trying to, you know, going through, and I've asked a lot of questions, and I know I've reached out to support for problems that I was running into it. And then I started recently changing kind of that look and feel to give it more of a website design versus that ListingPro kind of look and feel, right?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it was just trying to understand what it was capable of doing.
Listen, man, you're right. We're not beating it up. I just
I'm always open for advice, man. Trust me.
I want to show you a couple examples. Just, you know, as you see here, same setup, but most of this was done using the page builder, right? So I prefer Elementor. Customizing something with Elementor, or even ripping open the header and not making it look, you know, how thousands of other sites look, I think is really key to your brand. Look what MotoPeeps did, something so unique that I didn't even know this was ListingPro until I started getting into the search pages. But again, they use their custom freedom. You won't see the ListingPro pieces here other than the search box at the top. And then, of course, once you get into the search, we all know, I guess you could do customizations this page too. Whoa, that's running a little slow. But once you get into this, yeah, you know this is ListingPro, right? I mean, it screams ListingPro here, but really good. Keep that in mind, right? So when you're looking at, you know, the design elements, can you just rip this and do something all with, you know, your design ability? So I would definitely do that. There's also, and this isn't going to be for Joe's specific site here. You know, he's already just trying to figure out what's working, what's not working. So skip the design and style, more so just the content that he has, not design and style, but colors. You know, you want to keep with the same. I know that this is just an add-in, and Joe, this isn't specific to you, but I see this on a lot of people's sites where they never really use a red. Now, red could be a great call out, but just using it one time on your site, just because the drag and drop functionality comes in there and you don't know how to change the color on it because it doesn't have a specific styling setup. It just kind of throws things off, right? And again, he's got the bits and pieces in there. Does it need a little bit more work? Yeah, of course, right? He knows that, we know that. Dashboard is a weird one, right? From your menu, dashboard should do absolutely nothing for me. because I'm not logged in. So as you've seen, I click dashboard, it just redirects to the home page. So it throws me off a little bit. And what you guys can do is you can do, I like to use a plugin called if menu. And the if menu says, hey, if they're logged in, show this. If they're logged out, show that. And that would be much cleaner than having a dashboard icon here. Also, keep in mind that with a ListingPro design, once you do log in, there will be a dashboard here. So whether you still need that one prompt in their face or whether you don't, it's totally up to you, right? So just keep that in mind. Those are a couple things, and not specifically to Joe, but for everybody. Let's take a look around. So events, I know he's probably gonna have to do, oh, it doesn't show any events, probably have to style up some events. Keep in mind that,
yeah, this is a very, very new site. I mean, and trying to get people logged in. So I've been scraping sites and trying to get data, trying to get content into it.
yeah, man, no problem. How's the scraping going for you? Going pretty well?
It's going well, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's going really well. I love it, man. What are you scraping? Let me just open it. Oh, this one's missing the title. Oh, no worries. Let's check out one. Scraping, good idea, right? Basic information because you want them to be able to claim this listing. So that's pretty good. That's definitely my recommendation. I don't put a lot of information into the scrape.
I'm going to ask you guys some questions. So this is something that I asked, like I just put a support request in. So where I really struggled, and I didn't realize so many people actually use this plugin, and where I've really struggled is how the cities and states work, right? Because like San Diego, California, and like, whoever I was talking to on support, I was like, hey, this doesn't quite work so well, because when I do California, San Diego, California, and then there's a San Diego, Texas. If you search for San Diego, Texas, all the California stuff comes up, right?
Yeah,
so, and I've really kind of struggled on it, and I didn't realize, like, I was surprised last night when I saw your Facebook post about this group, and I was like, well, man, I'll at least jump on here and see what you guys have to offer.
Yeah, sure, man. So the best way to do those is making sure that you have your category or your locations in child and parent locations. Obviously, the site I'm just getting started on, but I will show you that. Actually, you know what? I got a better one. Hold on 2 seconds.
And I do, like, I have California, and I have all of them broken down, and the cities below it. So when I'm doing my imports, because I'm using Octoparse to actually scrape the sites. And then once I get it into that, I get into an Excel spreadsheet. And then from there, I'm running it through a geocoder. And then I can get my latitudes and longitudes correct. And then I pipe them right into the site, and it works quite well.
Sure. I want to show you my setup on my listings.
One more question I have for you. Are you using Google API for the locations, or locations by admin?
The Google API.
Okay.
Good. Perfect. See me cut out there. So the way I actually set up mine was, because mine has 3 parts, right? We want to know the country or the continent or the major region, which North America, Asia, yada, yada. And then inside that, let's say North America, you want to say Florida. And then inside that, we want to say something like Orlando. So I actually had to set up a 3-fold for this and different methods of doing that. But you can easily see that if somebody were to type in, you're right, if somebody types in Cocoa Beach in my directory, unfortunately, if there was another Cocoa Beach, that's going to be a little bit of almost, I don't want to say a problem, but yeah, there might be 2 locations with Cocoa Beach. So, but if I type in Cocoa Beach on this site, currently I only have 3 that pop up. If I type in Florida, of course, it's not 8 that pop up, it's everything inside of here. So again, the cities, I see what you're saying, because yeah, there's always going to be multiple locations, right? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Like if you go to my site though and search, using the Google search, right? And then type San Diego, you're going to see there San Diego, Texas.
Well, that's good, right? So now you can pick San Diego.
Yeah. But if you click on San Diego, Texas, it's going to show you all the San Diego, California stuff.
Oh, it shouldn't do that. It definitely shouldn't do that.
Yeah. So
So I would have to take a look at the back
So
end
that's
here.
one of the questions that I kept asking. I'm like, what does that do that? Because it's keying
Oh,
off San Diego,
you
not
know what? So change that Google. So instead of using the Google address, I am really keen on using, let me go back. Where are we at?
using the admin locations you're
I am
providing.
using the admin locations, but here's the reason why. So let me see. I don't know if I set this one up. Let's do, no, I didn't. So on your site, the reason I do that is because I can get lost in this, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do, I know your site isn't ready, but check this out. So I'm in Cocoa, right? So Cocoa Beach, Florida. You have nothing. Okay, get out of here. Whatever. You normally people have nothing, right? So Rockledge is what Google says I'm in, which I'm not. And normally you would have no results. And then I go, okay, well, and see, I wasn't in Cocoa Beach. I was in Cocoa, but that pulled up close enough. So the problem is a lot of these places might not have anything in it, right? And if I'm looking for something specific, I don't give my users that option just because I hate for them to see no results, no results, no results, no results, and then finally they just leave. So I put in the locations, and at least they can find something close. Again, I'm in Cocoa, Florida, but Cocoa Beach definitely had something. Cocoa, Florida, which is, I mean, just the next town over. Look, you're doing really well because normally when I do these, they have nothing, right? So it is one of those tricky situations where, yeah, it shouldn't be pulling in something different, but I also just use whatever's in my website. That way I have something there. Really cool to see that you have stuff in my area.
Yeah, I was trying, man, and like trying to figure out like how to wrap my head around it, and like the other problem that I'm running into, like there's a weird map that shows up. Like if you hit a location, um, it's like a map in Saudi Arabia that's showing up. And then I started going through last night and looking at the page file, code itself where it's calling the Google APIs. And I noticed that maps, there was no location where it's showing some type of static image.
Yeah, what you want to do is you want to go into the listing or theme options listing, and under general, you'll have the default map location, longitude and latitude.
I have
That way,
those.
if they're what you have them,
Yeah. I
super.
actually put in the United States maps. I put in like the longitude and latitude for the US.
Now, I think it's something we'd have to check out because normally Saudi Arabia does show up. Like if I don't have any listings, it's just a default where it defaults to. If these are correct, then it sounds like somebody needs to take a look. And again, you can find us in the Facebook group. I probably have to log in to do something like that, right? Just to kind of double check. I mean, not that I don't want to take your word for it, but
Right. Well, I took it. Yeah, I submitted a request last night and said,
Sure.
hey, you guys take a look at this because man, I went all the way through it and I went back and looked at how.
Can I see that, Joe? Can you show Tim?
Yeah, if you go to the other, go to call attorney. Hold on, I'll type it in there real quick. Let's see here.
No, I think this is a little too specific. Maybe we put this on hold for the webinar. Well, matter of fact, Sam will take a look and maybe he'll message you directly. That way, I don't mind coming back to it. I just, yeah. So Sam is in the chat. Post your group.
Yeah, Joe, you can send me the link, direct link. Just DM me.
Okay. So this is what I'm working on this morning. So yeah, I'll let you.
While you guys are figuring that out, Miraz is also here. It's something I would love to take a look at it. I would just have to log in. I don't think our Zoom meeting is ready for all that. Unfortunately, Miraz. Oh, okay. I think that was just a loading issue. There's something definitely wrong with the server there. When I loaded it up, half the page was this background. So just going to give you a quick review on this. I love your color scheme. I feel like I've seen this site before. And maybe it's come a little bit further along. I don't like the listing style that you have here. Obviously, whatever is going on in there, definitely breaking things up.
Yeah, I'm trying to change it, but I'm unable to find how to make it vertical way.
Let me see what I use, because I think it's listing by. It's just my favorite style. Let me just show you. So this one, again, this site is nowhere near done. It's just, I don't had the demo anymore. I'm just gonna edit this one and just tell you, I like to use these ones. They look funny when I'm editing them, but editing listing posts, I like grid view and then grid style 1. And this will handle your ads, right? It'll handle either 3 ads or the latest 3. If you don't have any ads, latest 3 listings that were posted. And again, just so you can see how that visually looks. You don't have to pick this style, but just pick a style that works. And I have seen a couple of them were buggy, just like you showed me, right? So something like this. I think 2 or 3 of those other listing styles work as well, but one of them just always gives me problems, kind of like you're seeing on your site. I would definitely switch that up. Another solution to this would be to maybe put it in 3 columns, right? So you put one, I don't think that's going to work, but like see how this is built for like a sidebar area. So like if the page is only this big, how could you do that with your page builder? Something I am noticing is I do like your color scheme. Like I like it a lot, but I think you need a little bit more padding, styling, and some of your fonts need to, match your fonts, right? So here you have quicksand, here, but look at the size, right? So here you have a specific size. Now, technically an H1 title, what your website is about. This should be your H1 title. This should be the biggest font on your website on the homepage. I'm not saying make it bigger, but you can't have these categories or these being bigger than the H1. And that's just from a design style point. So either shrink these or even better, blow this one up, right? Make this one a little bit bigger with font and then come down here. Look at this one. This is the title on your page and all my titles are usually similar. But this title, for some reason, got super, super small. So keep that in mind when you're kind of building it out. Another reference, let's go to my homepage. I'm going to show you. You'll notice same thing. Font is super big. You know exactly why you're there. And then you'll start seeing these titles, obviously smaller than the bigger font. As I come down, I've got other call out titles, title. Now these are the same fonts, same styling. I just swap colors a little bit, right? But that's normally what you see on all your popular websites. Same thing, bam, a little bit smaller. But notice how you'll see this same one here. You'll see it here. You'll see it here on New Peeps. You'll see it testimonial. So try to use that same. If you haven't seen some of our style and design videos, I actually like to save that as an element. So like if you were to save that here, I won't go into it, but like if you were to save that, right, and just say, hey, I already have the font and the typography. I want to save that, right? Bam, I call it titles. And that way you can reuse that, excuse me, later, right? So if you want to come down here and you said, hey, this was supposed to be the same font and it was titles, right?
Titles, yeah. That's super easy. Got it.
Yeah, so make it a little bit easier. Let's take a look. So I like to set the center section. I'm not digging the black on the blue, but again, that's just my personal preference. Really like what you did here. You know, that would have been, yeah, I love what you did here. Unfortunately, right now, they don't link to anything, but you've got a good start there. And this looks really good compared to just using the default stuff. Uh-oh, another red button. Let's get that.
Yeah, I'll change that one.
Yeah, you know a better feature than using, I know this is their call to action or the, you know what I like? Man, I just like to create my own, right? So here I've got a button on the, I've got 2 columns. My text will go over here. And then I've got my button here. I could put text, but it gives me the design freedom to kind of do what I want instead of being locked into, right? It's just 2 columns, being locked into whatever they say. Okay, bam, it's here. Nothing wrong with that, but again, I like a little bit more freedom.
Are you liking the Elementor better than the WP Builder?
So there's a couple things, and I'm just going to be on. I know Sam is the number 2 guy or the number 1 guy at ListingPro. I'm going to be honest with you. WP Bakery, we don't unless they upgrade it with a theme, you don't get an update. That's not the big killer, right? So, you know, as all my plugins are updated on my sites, I can't update WP Bakery until ListingPro decides to. Even though, yes, I actually went out and bought a copy of WP Bakery for a different site many years ago, and I could use that, but you shouldn't have to, right? The second thing is we actually have 3 Facebook groups, right? I run one, Sam's group runs one. I think Carson Costa still has the other one. And in all 3 groups, this is brought up multiple times, we run polls. Elementor wins in all 3 groups. So that's not my biased opinion. That is, and I'll tell you why from my biased opinion or from what other people are saying, there's more freedom, man. The Elementor has way more going on with the customability and what you can do, how flexible it is compared to WP Bakery. Now, If you're just somebody who uses WP Bakery at every one of your other projects, then go for it, right? If that's just your thing, then and you're comfortable with it, go for it. Here's another one I get all the time. I get clients like, hey, is it too late to switch? You know what? If you don't have 50 or 60 custom pages, it's never too late to switch. You just got to redesign your pages that you do have or drag in the widgets that you do have. And I'm a big fan of Elementor, so much that I've got the lifetime or the yearly, what is it, $9.99? Actually, I got grandfathered in, but I think they're charging $9.99 for unlimited websites. I think that pays itself off though. So there's also some features with Elementor that I can do. I know that WP Bakery, you can probably do some other things as well, but I'm really comfortable with Elementor. So yeah, to answer that one up, let's finish up just the homepage here. This video is super small compared to the rest of it. Don't limit this, blow this up, even though I see it's still just a video placeholder. And then your padding went crazy. Like your padding was good up here, good here. This is large, but try to mix I don't care if you like a lot of white space or if you like minimal white space, right? Try to mix up your content. Use the same white space for everywhere, right? So here you have a specific type of gap. And here you have a smaller gap. And then here you have a gap that I've never seen before. And then here you have a gap that doesn't, I mean, it's not the same as all of them. So just within the first scrolling, big gap, big gap. Try to keep your spacers limited. So if you're using 25 pixel spacers everywhere, use 25 pixels everywhere. When I start getting down here, you may like a lot of white space, but it just starts getting a little crazy, right? This is a huge gap between content here and here where you get no value other than me having to scroll my page. And again, I'm not biased to having decent white space. Make it consistent, right?
Yeah, sure.
Matter of fact, look at this. So if I start here, how much of this page is actually blank? All right, it's in my opinion, I think I tighten this up a little bit, right? And maybe that video isn't helping me. It's just a placeholder. As far as this, I really love what you've done here. This section looks really great. And then this is not looking as great because of the formatting, right? So I think if you had another review, it would fill up here, and that would maybe start to make it look good. Before you go live, make sure you have that review, right? That way people know exactly what they're looking at. Events, okay, I like this section here. Good. Hey. Looking really good. Elementor Pro also allows you to customize these posts. I'm not sure if WP Bakery does, but Elementor Pro I've been using to style these up. We're going to end up muting somebody. And yeah, your homepage offers a lot of information. At some point, I've never seen this combination. Actually, this kind of threw me off. I don't mind like transparent or not transparent. What's the word? We're looking at, the way something blends into something else.
Gradient.
Yeah, gradient. Thank you so much. But that just looked horrible. Like my personal, like I wasn't expecting to see that, right? And all of a sudden you just go, bam, here, take that. We'll show you a gradient that we use. And it came out all right, right? So this is just a darker green into a lighter green, and you would expect to see some of that around the site. We're just talking about the header here that, we did the top header for this person, but same thing, it was a decent blend of gradient. It wasn't as strong and in your face or like, bam, here. If you're gonna use a gradient like this, use it other places. That way they're seeing it, right? And not just surprising them. But so far, so good, man. I'm only gonna review your homepage because it had a lot of content, but I'd love if you jumped in chat. Maybe you don't see a need to fix those, right? But if you do see a need, I'd love to see the site again, right before you launch or when you do launch, or just, if you had any questions. I'm going to check out one link because I'm not sure what it is, demo. All right. Yeah, hey, really love this. If it was filled out, you've got some information for them, right? You want to show them what exactly they're getting into. A lot of our clients are using that now, not just the pricing plan page where you normally would just have pricing, but I'm watching people do, hey, what do you actually get? So here he has a list of things he's getting or that you're getting. But what else do you actually get? Well, some people don't know. You get a dashboard with leads and statistics, and show them that, right? This is what's also included. So also start here, man. I love it. Thanks for sharing that with us. Any questions so far, guys? While I scroll down these chats and try to find some.
In this on this page there is a plan. In plan there is a I want to use instead of INR a symbol of Indian currency. How can I use that?
For where?
On the top, it's a 3 plan is there, na? On the like gold, silver, basic. On the gold plan, the pricing is 999, right? Yeah. So this INR, I want to use instead of the letters, I want to use it as a symbol of the Indian currency. So is there any option I can do? Like for example, in America, they can use easily the dollar.
Stacy saying HTML, the currency symbol, perhaps it could work. I thought that, and it's been a long time since I've switched any currencies for users, but let me just double check. I think it's 2 different places, and I normally could tell you off the top of my head, but it's not coming to me now. On pricing plan, isn't it using this? So on your theme options general, and if you scroll down, you have the currency symbol that's gonna, no, that's only for the price group and the price range. Okay. So then there's a second spot. What is it? Pricing plan or payments, right? Payments probably. For the, oh, I see what you're saying. So instead of using like US dollar, you have selected INR, which is just showing INR. I think you're going to need some custom coding for that. You might be able to, and I'm not 100% sure, but you might be.
I put it there INR, but still the symbol is not showing on the pricing plan.
Yeah, it's not showing that.
Rest everywhere it is showing.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I'll have to check with the support team. I was gonna say loco translate the word INR into your currency symbol, but I don't know that INR is gonna pull up in loco translate because it's probably a part of a lot of different words as well. That would be my first place to check. If not, I'd edit the template files, which again is custom coding, and go in there and just switch INR to my currency symbol instead of these 3 letters, which would fix it. But again, it's just it's not an easy solution, right? It's look in chat. Stacy actually put the Indian rupee sign is so if you could find it, I'd replace that, the and ampersand or and pound 8377 colon. It looks like you just have to replace that. Again, template file would be my solution. A non-coder solution would be, actually, couldn't you do like CSS classes before and after? Let me check into that, man, because there might be an easier solution, just like checking into your page here and then just showing the currents. Just kind of editing some of this. Oh no, it's built into the paragraph. Yeah, matter of fact, reach out to support again, ask them if you can change the INR or your currency symbol, see if they can help you out with that. They might have a functions code that would work as well. I don't have anything offhand that would do that for you.
Yeah, got it. I'll check with them.
Why isn't font awesome updating with ListingPro update? We can't use the last 2 icon updates. Sam, that one's for you. Stacy from the chat.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm responding in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Perfect. So while he's doing that, does anybody else want to show their sites or maybe have questions about style and design, or what are some other good? We've seen some other sites that really could. Oh, Saudi Help was a great one. It's definitely
So yesterday I bought the add-in for the attorneys, right? So to kind of, see how that would update the attorney page. And I noticed like I was kind of playing with it this morning, and like it added a new header, but yet the header kind of kept falling behind everything. So I was trying to figure out, what did that plugin add in? Did it really change? That kind of made it different. Do you know?
I haven't grabbed the lawyer or the attorney one yet, but I will tell you that with the other add-ons, I didn't know that some of them were going to take over my website. So like I had started a ListingPro website, and then I went to test it. And when I loaded like a Medical Pro, it changed my whole header. It had different header styles. I had to go back in and reconfigure what I wanted. It was probably for the best, but I think like if you already have something on ListingPro and you go to try to install one of those add-ons, I don't know if that's the correct method. I think you have to know from scratch and start from that, or just be real. Like it changed a few things that I wasn't expecting. Right.
Well, I was a little nervous. I didn't want it to affect any of my listings that's already in there, because it was asking about, when you first started to do it and it goes through that wizard, it says, hey, it's going to overwrite your options, which I was like, okay, I can make a backup of my database and stuff like that. But then it was talking about importing demo content, and I was like, okay, then I stopped and I didn't move
Yeah, so with the demo content, so I will say always take a backup. You know that, you've already said it. But when it says, hey, we want to import demo content, that's going to be the default 3 blogs, the default 10 listings. And if you already have that, like you don't need the page content, you don't need any of that because you already have a ListingPro install, you can skip that, bro. You know, if you want to import it, I don't think it would mess anything up, but can you have that backup? Anyways, what we are talking about, that even if you installed it and said, hey, I don't want the demo content, your header is still going to change, right? In the case of Medical Pro, where it was a totally different layout, totally different option, totally different theme option. So, but other than that, like it shouldn't affect your listings or anything like that, categories, functions like that. It may, and you know, that's why I only do that on a new site, is it may add 10 locations you just didn't want in there, you know, so that's why, you know, I'm really keen on doing that from the start. And if I already have content on the site, I don't need the wizard, man. You can't show me anything that I don't already know page wise. So
Yeah, that's kind of the big thing that I was kind of really looking at. I mean, and then the mobile app side of it, you know, I mean, there's some formatting I got to do on both of those sites because I'm seeing like the user accounts and their avatars are showing up underneath the logo. So there's a number of things that I got to fix from the mobile aspect.
yeah, man, I agree. I agree with that totally. You know, I have to go down a mobile site and just append what I want to see and what I don't. But I mean, I think that's really with all my designs. But yeah, I totally agree with that. I know that at some point I had to pick an at view based on the project that I'm doing. The responsive view or at view 1 are my 2 favorites. And just depending on what type of grid listings they have is what I'm choosing, right? If they're using a grid type listing, which is like blocks and squares, then I'm down with the responsive view, less work. If they have a list style listing, a lot of times I go with the at view 1. I don't mind either one, just one is more work, one is less work. So just depending on what we're doing there. But play with both, man. See what you like. And if you need to mix and match them, you can do that as well with template files. So
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to get, you know, I kind of put these up and then I really started putting some effort into them over the last few weeks. So it's like, okay, let's try to really get them to gain some traction. So we'll kind of see where it goes from there.
hey, is the heat on? I don't know what's going on, dude. I'm burning up in this office. So I'm in Florida. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm burning up.
You can open the door. I don't think it's going to cool you down over there.
No, man, it's not. It's hotter outside than it is. Yeah. So I think it's AC time. Perfect. Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us, man. We all grow from these you know, these webinars, man. So it's been awesome. Anybody else with some questions? I know you guys didn't come just to listen. You guys have any questions here? Otherwise, Joe, I'm sure has a list of them. Maybe not. Checking with chat. Looks like it's 80 degrees. Is that what you just said?
Nice.
Oh yeah, you're in Miami, south of me. Hey guys, give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
It says it's 19 here.
Sorry. Yeah, so my AC says 79 degrees right now, which is way too hot. Apparently, I love that Florida life. And then look, 19 in St. Louis. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I'd rather be hot than cold, but we'll fix this heat here in a second. I already feel it blowing. Miami, Stacey living that good life. All right, what else we got? Abdullah. Abdullah, you had Saudi help, didn't you?
Yes.
Awesome, man. We were talking about your site. I actually pulled it up for a second, but wonderful job, man. That is looking really nice. How do you feel about the progress of your site? Do you feel like it's changed a lot? I mean, for the better, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I did. And I stole one of your designs in the homepage.
You what?
I stole one of your designs in the homepage. Like I got inspired by your design.
Oh yeah, man. I do a lot of design work, but you know, this is what I do for a living. So I'm actually starting my 5th version of my personal directory, and unfortunately, it's taken a lot longer than I wanted. Right? I've got that ListingPro site out there where you can build ListingPro site in 2 hours, but you know, when you're working on your own project, it's just like I am like fine tuning, like even 1 or 2 pixels up or down. Right? I'm just like, oh, this is getting too much, but I wanted it to be perfect. I've also looked into, and this might be a great, just a reference for you guys. I've also looked into what makes people come back to a directory. And I know I've talked about this before, but just having a directory and not doing anything with it isn't enough. If you're running a niche site, there's so many community things that you can do. So I've been really looking into this and getting people's opinions and thoughts on how can you make more traffic for a website. I've been looking at GamerPress, right? And I haven't bought the premium version yet. I'm just looking at the, the free version just to see, what I can do with that as of now. But it offers rewards and point style based system. So when somebody logs in, 5 points, right? Or I call them kite points on my kiteboarding website. When somebody leaves a review, 10 points. When somebody posts a blog, because I have front end submission on my blog. And of course I review it and it gets submitted, 20 points. Somebody comes back and does this on their birthday, they get this. I'll show you a few of the add-ons. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but it's got leaderboards. It's got, progress system. In the future, could you have a shop and give $10 discounts if you have 1,000 points and unlock those 1,000? It does all that type of stuff. So I'm kind of looking at directories different now, as not just a directory, but why would my community come to my site daily? I'm not talking about business owners. I'm talking about, I'd love if they came daily too, but how can I make my users interact with my site daily? And I think this is going to be my solution. Again, I'm worried about integrating and, integrates with a lot of different things. And the only thing is, like, I think pricing for one site is $199, right? So I was looking at it and I might just buy the full out one for unlimited websites and offer this to like a client base once I figure out everything, right? But the free version, really something fun to look into. Again, I have a different setup, so I don't think this is for everybody, but on my, and this site is not what I'm working on. Let's look at the other one, hold on. Version 5. So on my site, of course, I got to change the title here. This is just in development. But I've got the start earning points, submit content today. But I have different things, right? It's not just listings. It's planning your next adventure, logging in, saving trips, events and demos. Yeah, just an event calendar with a list of things. Can people log in, and post that stuff? And again, why would you come back? So we have a bunch of different things that people can submit, from blog posts to different items. And I think that's going to be the key to getting thousands and thousands of, extra visitors logging in. Now, once you have that traffic, yeah, it's game over, right? The businesses will want to sign up. But again, I have a different closed type niche that's not, I guess not everybody could incorporate things like that, but think of ways you could. We're talking wedding websites, right? That's another one. Wedding websites. Why would a bride come back after she's already picked all of her things? She picked the DJ, she used your site for everything. Why would she come back later? And we thought about this for many different reasons, right? The reasons that I always use is, what about a forum that says, hey, what to do after you're married? Or where did you go on your honeymoon? Or how was your experience at year number 1? What about an RSVP list where you refer through your site? And of course, it's going to be additional, right? You got to find a plugin that allows people to sign up on your website, but the bride would send that out, a link to your website where 50 other women or men would be looking at your website, signing up to her RSVP list. That gets more traffic. Now, all of a sudden they get married, they already know of your site, it's in their community as well. And then what else? Forums, blog posts, submissions, resale. And I'm just talking about the wedding industry. This is how you have to think of your own industry. But in weddings, there's a lot of things that they buy that they want to get rid of afterwards, right? Whether it's arrangements of flowers that, fake flowers, of course, whether it's any type of arrangement, any type of, attire that they can't get rid of. And I know there are shops and stores that will buy this as well, but it's a reason why to come back, right? And I think if you start thinking about those reasons, as it helps. Any extra traffic definitely helps. Here's another one for gamification. Sam said MyCred. I've heard of MyCred. I haven't used it, but it looks like it's probably got the same type of, I don't know enough about it to show you anything, but so Sam recommended this one, same concept, right? You get points, you get badges, you get ranks, and then, I display that publicly, right? So let them see how close they are to the leaderboard. let them compete in interacting with your site. So super cool. Micred, I think, has been along way longer than GamerPress. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I remember hearing Micred since the beginning of time. So that might be good to check out as well. The wavy border segments is Elementor Pro. I'm not, you know what? I'm not sure if it's Elementor Pro or, let me see. I don't think it is. I'll show you where it's at. Let me go back to Save in San Diego. Give me just a sec. That's a ListingPro site. Here we go. So the wavy border, I've been having a lot of fun with this. When I say a lot of fun, matter of fact, wait, I'm going to show you something even better. So this is just the custom site I've been working on. Super fun, but watch this wavy border. Where are we at? At Haas. So this site's been super cool, just because I'm just playing around with a new type of system. It's the same thing. It's directory based, but instead of like it looking like a directory, these are actually products, right? So you can add products, and I've got that same wavy feature here. Exclusive leads. Again, these are just products, and you can buy them now. But the wavy feature, I'm going to go into it just so you can see it. Edit with Elementor. I'm not sure if it's Pro. You let me know, because I use Pro on almost every single one of my websites. I don't think it's part of Pro. But all I did here was I had a section, right? So I added a section, I put the spacer in there, and I'll show you the spacer. Right, so here's the spacer. And then once I'm done with that, I color the background. So right click, edit section, style. And again, this will be recorded. I color the background with this. And then actually, you know what? I did gradient in this case. I didn't do solid color. I did gradient. I went from red to black and then just picked, whatever looked best on my locations, kind of making it look good, whatever. I'm not going to save this. And then from there, this is the shape divider. So I'm not sure if shape divider is a Pro feature, but that's what you want to check. Shape divider on the bottom, I did wave brush. And of course, you can style it up as well.
That's cool.
So that was a question from chat. Double check, please. Yeah, let me know. I don't think I have anything that doesn't have Elementor Pro on it right this second. But I'd love to know if that's just a Pro feature. Again, shape divider. I don't think it is. But
It's not Pro.
it's not Pro, so anybody can do it, right? Perfect. Listen, some other ones I like. What else did I like? I like Tilt. I use Tilt a lot. I'll show you an example. Again, we're talking about design and styling today, so this kind of fits hand in hand. I'll show you this one. Again, this is just a personal site. It's not a directory or anything, but you'll see the tilt function here. So same thing, but I tilted the top. And then this site is not ready yet. We're still making small changes, but again, the top was tilted, I think at like 86. The bottom was tilted at like 86. And I just put a little padding up here so this wasn't sitting up here. Same feature. Another one I like. Oh, wait, you guys can't even see that. Why don't you tell me? Sorry. Top, bottom, and then used it like that. And that's the same thing, border top or the same shape divider. Another one I like, and I'll show you, is instead of wave brushes, is mountains. Mountains looks really good. But again, you have to mess with the height because I don't necessarily like it like that, but I could get into a different color and kind of utilize something cool there. Of course, you have to find your own style. And then I like tilt and tilt opacity. So tilt opacity kind of does something like this, but normally I don't use, like I wouldn't use this, I'd use an image, right? So if I put an image back here, edit section, style up an image, shoot, I don't have any images and that's not going to be big enough. But style up an image instead, and then maybe adjust it so it's not, I'll give you an idea. So shape divider, bottom, I probably wouldn't do that much on the height, maybe something like that. It just kind of fades into it, does something a little bit different, right? Maybe mess with the color here, white. But yeah, it comes out great on some of my sites because I'll do the top and the bottom just like that, but this will be in the middle of the page, so not where you're seeing it now. Something like that.
I'll have to look at Elementor.
Elementor is super cool, and once you get it, you get it. It's like everything kind of stays the same. You can adjust padding, pixels, all that. And there's plenty of videos out there on Elementor. Go ahead.
My other stuff is the one I really like.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The other one's Fusion.
Oh, yeah, Fusion Page Builder. So
Yeah,
I actually Go ahead. Yeah, if you're comfortable with it, man, I know that maybe not with ListingPro because I don't know if it's compatible using the widgets and stuff. If it is, man, by all means, use what, like in design, I use what's comfortable for me. And again, you know, based on ListingPro, I would say go with the polls. Like Elementor is where it's at. But again, if I was that WP Bakery guy for like 5, 6, 7 years, I'd be like, okay, you know, I'm just gonna make WP Bakery work until I found a reason not to. And I don't know if updating it, like again, I have my own personal copy. I could always throw that into a ListingPro website. But Elementor is
What are
just
you guys building this lead site on?
what do you mean? So this is, I'd say the truth, this is just dynamic content and and Elementor Pro on a base theme. So I mean, not to talk about, you know, the custom work that I'm doing, but yeah, this is just to give you, I'll show you exactly because you asked, but the homepage is not done. But the idea was they actually get leads, and I won't talk about this for longer than 2 minutes, man, but they get leads already. And the leads come through, there's nothing on the homepage yet. The leads come through to a submit form. I have a submit form here that they actually get pushed to automatically with Apply. What happens after that is I'm just using basic WooCommerce to serve those leads up either an exclusive lead in a location, in a cleaning field or carpet cleaning or something like that. But if you'll notice, like this looks really familiar because it's literally just products on a back end. So I use WooCommerce and then I just decked out what a normal shop product would look like. And then, you know, all these fields are already filled out. The only difference here is we actually did a your credits type section where they have to buy credits in advance. So you see my credit balance is 365. I can buy as small as 50. I buy the 50 credits, it gets added to my wallet, and I use those. The idea is, you know how you get leftover money. So if somebody spends $200 on your site, they can now buy these leads, right? So bam, it's just adding a product. So super fun. It was super different than what I'm normally used to doing. So it's been fun in the process of just making sure it works. But yeah, super cool. Just give you an idea.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Design and style, I promise, is what we're talking about. But yeah, what questions do we have? So let's I can show you what are some of the sites that just made it to Terry. Terry was here earlier. She's she's in here. Tennis courts around the world. She's done really well with her site. Although I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it offhand. She is here with us. This is one I always give the disclaimer because we mentioned a couple of things. Like I didn't design all of this, right? A lot of this has Terry's input in it as well, like that pop up. But yeah, so you know, definitely a site that I can enjoy. And Terry's done a wonderful job on just, you know, keeping it updated. Terry actually had traffic from a blog post already, or a blog website already with thousands of viewers. So her niche is really specific, and you know, it's just really looking a lot better from when we first when we first had our first interaction. I think they were using, you know what, it was another theme, but it wasn't a directory theme. And they were trying to do directory components, and then she found ListingPro, and it's just gotten much better from there. Design and styling. A lot of this, again, guys, don't get stuck with something, anything you buy, right? Hopefully it's ListingPro, but anything that you buy, don't be stuck with the manual components. Once you get good with something like Elementor or Fusion Builder or even WP Bakery, but build your own components. You know, here it's 2 columns. It's 2 columns with a background image, a border radius, a shadow, and a button in the middle, followed by a picture. You know, you're not limited to what ListingPro says. Here's another one, right? ListingPro is great, don't get me wrong, but I didn't like their custom, like, you know, matter of fact, saved in San Diego. I didn't like the normal layout for their categories. You either had to have, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you had to have 9 or 8, and it randomized them, right? It didn't put them in the order that I wanted. So you know what we did? We just said, hell, let's make 3 columns. One is this, background yellow text. Here's another one, background image. And then I did a title below it and then just drug it up with the black on it. But I wasn't limited to the capabilities of the theme. And it looks, I mean, granted, right, ignore this, but this doesn't look bad at all. This is just as popular categories. This will have some more text and maybe a nice call out button. But in my opinion, it came out really, really nice compared to being set in stone with, hey, you got to use this. So keep that in mind. Work on your design flexibility. Something that helped me out a lot was going to sites like Dribble. And we're talking about back in the day. I used to look at other people's web designs, and on a blank canvas or a fresh page, I used to like to try to build out some of that stuff, right? And it's not that I wanted to use it, but I was trying to see what I was capable of. So Dribble's a site that, I get a lot of inspiration. So maybe I'm looking for shop items or directory items or how something should look. I can easily come here, do a search, and find multiple web. I'm not finding anything that just fancies me, man, but is that, do we use that in the United States, fancy me? So something like this, I would try to rebuild something just like this, right? Just rebuilding bits and pieces and using that as my style template. And that bettered me as a web designer, right? It just made me a better designer using something that already looked great. And I'm not saying copy it, right? We're just using this. And then, what I ended up doing, I ended up deleting the page and just knowing that I can create something similar. And I do that a lot. What's popular? What's the new style? They said border radiuses are going out, so again, we got to check into that, right? Always be able to upgrade and jump into something. Any questions on design and style? Miraz, I'm coming right back to you. Oh, no, actually, I need to scroll down. I don't see any hands up. So any questions on styling? Anybody having any trouble with styling, or, what are you guys using? We heard Fusion Builder, WP Bakery. No questions so far? Oh, we got one. What's up?
I said, no, man, I'm good.
Yeah, no worries. Even if you're not trying to be a web designer, guys, I promise you, learning how to style up your own web page will just come in, much better in an experience where it's your website. I mean, if you just want the plain Jane, like we did see some people just drop in those pieces. If that's what you want, do it. I'm not saying you have to be a web designer to drag and drop. Matter of fact, with Elementor Pro and Elementor, I hate to say this, but I don't do a lot of web designing. It's not a lot of code. It's drag and drop. It is a designer eye when it comes down to it, but there's a little bit of coding, like CSS and styling, which I'm sure you guys have already heard from some of my other videos. You don't have to be a CSS expert, right? So let's just say, what do we say? Well, if we go to events, something like this, right, where you can't change this color in the gray color in ListingPro. Well, you can right click, inspect. I'm not going to go into this, but I'll just show you one. You can change the gray here, let's just say to a bright red, right? And then literally just copy this code that you see here and then put a closing bracket behind it. So again, I'm not saying you have to learn how to code. You learn some tricks and trips. You can put this in your custom CSS box, and that will now on every single listing be read. So keep those in mind. Again, you don't have to learn coding for that. I have a style and design video that will show you guys exactly, like in most ListingPro designs that I do, there's about 2 or 3 codes I use. It's one, changing color on different things around the site that I couldn't change color to. The other one is display none, which just hides a feature I didn't want. And then, maybe 1 or 2 small other ones. But once you have those mastered, it's like, okay, wait, I don't want to display this. How can I do that? Matter of fact, hers doesn't display the map icon. And that's because we've already removed it with the display none. Well, if I didn't want to show this either, display none, it's gone. But of course, I removed that whole bottom box because that looks silly now. But
I got a question. So
sure.
One of the ones that I want to take off, maybe I won't. I was just thinking about like ads, how it's actually, because somebody asked that question to me. So like when you look at the ads, it kind of puts like the category that they're in, and it puts some text above it. And I want to go ahead and remove that.
Like this?
So like if you actually go into the listings, well, so that's fine there. But when you go into the listings and you're seeing the listing ads, go to like, go back to the front page.
On the search, this one? So wait, like this?
Yeah, I see how, well, yeah, so if you, like right there, we were seeing, I changed it on the small ones, but the ones to the right where it says featured businesses. Right underneath, see how it's showing head shop, sunshine, daydream, yada, 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 all that information that's inside of there.
Yeah, what are you trying to remove on here? Head shops, ad, or sunshine?
The head shops.
So right click, inspect. That looks like a fig caption. I'm just going to test it by dropping it down one line and typing display none. That worked. So what I do is this code here, and I'll paste it in chat for you. This code here is what I would add to my appearance Customize.
But is that gonna affect just the ads, or
I
that's
don't
gonna
know. You better go back and check.
so
So in
affect
that
it all
case,
though?
so take a look. So what it's actually doing is it's saying, hey, in listing view, second view, listing post article, figure, fig caption, and then bottom area listing cats A, I would literally have to add this to the site because you probably don't need all of that, right? You could probably do actually listing cats is probably all of them, right? Everywhere. But maybe, so test it first and
Yeah,
see if it removes things. And if not, play around because look, you could do bottom area and then listing cats. So keeping from your code, you know a little bit about CSS, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you could use dot bottom area and then dot listing cats, and I'm probably sure that might work as well. But to make it easier for everybody else, because not everybody else is doing code, just copy it and see. You're right. I test it back on the home page. I want to say
Yeah, he had asked me that the other day, and I was like, let me look at it. And I hadn't kind of put some thoughts around it.
Actually, you don't. Oh yeah, here. But what's it called here? I just have to take a look, man. Yeah, this is called something completely different. This is
Yeah, it's different.
So you might be good, man. Just try it and see what it does, and again,
I'll try that and see. Awesome.
Nice. Anybody else? Terry? What's going on? Scott, what's going on? Glad you made it. Miss Stacy,
What's up?
what's going on, man? Stacy, did we ever get that issue fixed? Sam's here now. You can just tell him all about it. I'm just kidding. No worries. Terry, thanks again. Looks like you're joining from your iPhone. Probably in the car on the way to a tennis match. And Scott, what's going on, man? Any questions from anybody? Scott, what time is it there?
2:05 a.m.
Thanks for tuning in, my buddy. That's
Where are
dedication.
you at?
You guys, he's in where are you? Kawasaki?
Yeah, Kawasaki, Japan. It's right next to Tokyo.
Oh, wow.
Super. He's actually from Miami, so I mean, it's really cool to know somebody that definitely from here. Although
Back from Miami this morning.
I don't know if you got a Miami tan though, Scott. It looks like you've been in Japan for a while.
What? Yeah, I've been here a little while. 10, wait, let's see.
Oh wow.
11 years now. Almost 11 years.
Nice.
It's pretty cool here.
Yeah. What's one cool thing other than reefer being 100% illegal?
Yeah, you can't do that here, but no, the food is the best in the world. I'm telling you, it's better than anywhere else I've ever had.
Listen, I heard that over there you have better food than they try to serve us over here, right? Like Chinese or Asian people will not eat from Hot Walk, where I enjoy it, but is that just like it's not the same, right? It's better than that.
Look, almost every Japanese restaurant in a mall is not Japanese food, it's Chinese food. There's very few real Japanese restaurants in America. Very, very few. And the thing is that Japan has more different kinds of food than any other place that I've ever seen in the world. I mean, it's not just Japanese food, and I don't mean just Japanese food is the best, because I don't think Japanese food by itself is the best, but it's like all the foods you can think of. Pizza's great here. Italian food is great.
Nah, they're not doing it better than New York's brick oven pizzas, bro. You can't tell me that a Japan pizza. Listen, let's get back on schedule, right? So back to the
Hey,
top.
look,
Tim, there's something
there's-
about Japanese that anything they do it to perfection. I mean, or they will not do it.
Exactly. That's just the way they think. That's the way they think here. And I disagree with you, Tim. I hate to say it, but there's more Michelin star pizza restaurants in Japan than any other place in the world.
I'm gonna have to get a Japanese chick. My wife is out of here, man. Just for the record, she's outside loading the kids up in the car, guys. But
And this is being recorded, Tim.
and she doesn't watch my channel. She hates to sell
One of the places I definitely want to visit. Yeah.
That's awesome. Sweet. Back on topic, guys. Any questions? I know that we haven't had a lot of interaction today. We've got a couple in the chat, but we're here for you guys. So I think next week I'm gonna, I just started coming back after getting situated, but I think more defined topics. That way we can just lead it. But again, we're here for you guys. So if you have any questions or anything we can help you out with, we'd love to.
Yeah, let's ask everybody. What do you think you guys what topic do you guys want Tim to talk about? Is there anything specific?
Well, Stacy has a question. She kind of answered Tim earlier there.
Oh, sorry. Let me go through that as well.
So before you get into it, just for some clarification, Stacy is having problems, and I don't know if I don't think it's always been like this because I've checked. So Stacy is having concerns. I think she has 28,000 or 100,000 listings she wants to add. I've seen sites with more than that, but what we're finding out is that the near me function on Stacy's site in particular is if you hit near me and it's got a lot of listings in it, the site just blinks and blinks and blinks and blinks. And I tested this on some other sites in the past and it was working. Now I'm testing it on the new version and I can't figure out a reason why either. She put in a support ticket to ListingPro and they fixed it, but they fixed it on her testing or her staging site that I recommended because I thought maybe it was a server issue. Now it works on the staging site and they told her it was just one file that they made edits to, but we swapped that one file to her real site and it's not working. So I think it's something definitely in the theme files that we probably need to take a deeper look at and get it fixed and push it out to an update. And again, you wouldn't realize
is that a caching issue possibly?
I don't think it's caching, man. It could have been, I don't think I cleared my cache when we tested, and after making so Stacey's saying not a cache problem. I know she's been struggling with this. And again, it's not that you can't have a site with 300,000 listings. It's that the near me, if you haven't filtered it down, what we did notice is once we filtered it down with some of the tags or the features, that worked. But like just the general like food or whatever her main categories was and searching that did not do anything but keep blinking. And again, I think it's one of those things where yes, ListingPro works, but it's one of those small little things that over what 11,000, 28,000, it would just keep blinking. So I'm sure Sam and his team will definitely take a look. Now you have Sam on the chat, just maybe he'll help out with just a more direct response on how we can get that fixed for you, because it doesn't seem like support help, but copying what they did and pushing it to another site doesn't work. So we think that it could be deeper than the file that they mentioned. But I'm sure he's noting it down right now, so really good. And if you want to direct message him your email or some type of response, maybe he can take a look at your direct ticket and kind of help you out with that.
Hey, so I got a question since I saw something on that top Google site. Have you guys tried out the app? Like the Google, the one that goes in for the Google store? Is anybody running it?
It's not the ListingPro didn't release one yet. They did the Android store. There is an app.
Android one had one.
Yeah, somebody has one out there. Who is it? Somebody.
I thought I saw it on the ListingPro site. Hold on. It was under.
They have the Android.
There was something. Because I did one for my hashtag site.
I'll have to find a link. There was one that's been around for a while, and they beat ListingPro to it. I haven't tested it, but I know some people that have, and they're okay with it. As far as almost all of our topics, somebody brings up the Android and when is ListingPro going to bring it up? They did launch an Android version, and since last talk to Sam, we don't have a release date on the iOS. Apparently, it's been started. I think they're maybe either working out some ideas or working out some bugs or whatever the case may be. It's still in works, just from Criteo or the ListingPro team. But again, there's one out there that's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I saw something out there, and because it was a store And I thought I was on the Invito market or something. I saw it pop up.
This is it. Hey, so on my screen, Abdullah posted, this one's been out for, I want to say a few months. And again, I haven't tried it personally, but I do have some clients that have tried it and they were happy with it. Now, the thing with this one is they actually came from a background of doing it with another theme first, which is why, like, I would have even tried it. Like, you know, if again, I make my own app, but the reason I was happy with yes, maybe saying yes, they do this is because they had already done it for a different theme, meaning they know what they were looking for, right?
Right.
So, and now it does support ListingPro. Again, if you install this, I don't think I can't support it. ListingPro's team might not support it, but again, I've heard positive things. I just can't 100% tell you.
You can download the demo app from in the App Store, and you can see how it looks on ListingPro.
Nice. There
Gotcha.
you have it. And Abdullah posted that link in chat. Again, it's not a ListingPro item, but if you just can't wait, by all means, we got to find solutions, right? Thank you, Abdullah. That's wonderful information.
You're welcome.
What a great community. I love you guys. Any final up questions or anybody have anything else? You know, whether it's style and design, whether you want to share a website, whether you maybe just have some questions in general. Oh, and then Sam brought up here, if you don't have any questions, I know I asked in all three groups, but a lot of people got really off topic. They're like, hey, we want to know all about, I mean, we did an SEO video, but they were asking like schema questions. And I know a little bit about, actually, I know a lot of it about SEO, but I don't know that I want to do some of those topics, right? It's so offbeat of web development and it's not really my expertise. So I skipped some of those topics. But what were some things that you guys would like to see?
Yeah, I'm just more looking at, I guess, you know, what I'd really like to understand, I've kind of tried to look at some of the things that ListingPro offers in some of their widgets, right? And some of it doesn't quite make sense, you know, and I'm like, why would you use some of these things, right? So, I mean, like I'm on this top Google site that's getting posted out. I'm like, there's some interesting stuff on this one, right? And like, you know, like this business owners deal off to the side, like what are they doing with that? Like, that's pretty freaking cool.
Like this?
That little off to the left there, it says business owners and there's a drop down. So I'm not quite sure what they're using for that.
We had looked into this before. This was like a menu. I'm just going to inspect real quick. SFM rollback. It was something, I mean, it's just for a mobile menu that slid out, offering more information.
Sub-mob drop down. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it one time and I was just right clicking, inspecting the source, or maybe I used, you know, what plugins is the site using, but I did see this before. It's just a really great, I mean, a great way to offer tons more information. Keep in mind, if you do this, you need tons more information, right?
Right.
So a lot of people aren't going to do that. But yeah, it really helps out with like, hey, what is the site about? How do I navigate around different pieces? So it looks really good. I want to say this is a premium plugin, but I don't think it was much. I remember taking a look a while back, just offering information from around the website. They got a lot.
Yeah, like I said, I've been actively trying to like just take a page and put in each one of the LP, you know, plugins and just kind of understand like what does it do, right? And then, you know, like you were saying before, though, some things the basic layout's just not what you want, so you kind of have to make your own.
Yeah, to give you an idea, like this is a perfect example. This is ListingPro, right? Saudi Help used something that he drug in. In my opinion, this looks great. It might even look better than what I showed you on Save in San Diego, the site that I could either drag in something they predefine, which is obviously missing something or doesn't have an image, so it's not full size, or I can design it the exact same way I want. I take a look at it like this. When I pick the theme, you know, it does everything I want. But I knew, like when I first design somebody else's ListingPro website, I clear out everything on that homepage. I'm not using this. I'm not using. Well, I am going to show featured ads, so I'll drag in just the widget. This is just custom. But when you first load it, man, I just delete everything on the page and just start from what do I want to show, right? You don't want to be locked into what ListingPro wants you to do. they provided a wonderful theme with wonderful widgets that you can use around the website. So keep that in mind when it comes time to using those widgets, like here, yeah, use the widget, use
Right.
that. But for title and this, no, I would have never kept that, right? But yeah, keep that in mind. There are a lot of features I'm not using, and that's with anything, right? I can pull up Avada, a business theme, or an agency theme. There are a lot of features I'm just not going to be using, right? I know I have a vision of what I want my site to do, and what do directories do? Well, we go to a search page and we need to be able to search. So that was key for me. I can do that with my site, but the rest of it, I'm building something out, right? And again, my kiteboarding U is a perfect example where I don't use a lot of features, right? I'm not using. We're just going to look at the top half of this. Whoops, maybe. No.
I think it's menu.js. I put a link in the chat there.
Yeah, that
Okay,
sounds
awesome.
But take a look at the top half. The whole top half, I'm not using anything other than the search bar. And actually, I got an Ajax search engine. But all just custom building your own stuff will make it give that pop. How about MotoPeeps? MotoPeeps is a wonderful example of where, dude, they did a great job of like, what was the other one? What was the one, Sam, that first great site that ever, oh, I remember. Check this one out. If it's working, because I know he's been doing some great stuff and breaking everything. Let me show you his homepage. This is ListingPro. Great example when he's 100% functional. I don't know that he's advertising or doing anything, but this guy literally ripped out the header, a little bit of coding there, put in a slider, and customize the slider to be an ad spot. So now you can advertise in this spot here and book an adventure, add your tour. So he's got custom buttons. He's got the ListingPro search bar in the middle. But as you start scrolling down, this is not ListingPro. This is his custom development work. Again, you could probably do all this with Elementor Pro. And then what do you see? Well, the grid widget that we all use. So really cool on how we utilize a lot of those features.
That's a nice idea.
Another one was this pricing plan. I used to love this. Here's more information, right? Here's how to do this. Where's this getting started? No, I just clicked that. Add a listing. This page came out great. He's offering additional features with his ad listing. So normally this is a part that's now broken on his website for some reason, but normally this is his ListingPro pricing plans. But then he did a little bit more and started adding things to the bottom of it. And these aren't just something you can drag and drop. These were all created, you can do it with Elementor, you could have done it with something else, but they're buttons, titles, banners, images, he just made it look 100% better. And somebody should definitely contact him because this has been broken for like 3 weeks. But yeah, looking really good. So keep that in mind. Use your custom freedom to do what you want. We're going to take a look at the plugin Scott dropped in. You are probably maybe correct. I don't see it. Use. Are you sure it's this? Did you just guess or did you inspect?
No, I'm pretty sure it's that, but the thing is that he customized his. It's set up totally different though.
I don't know, man. I thought I seen something that pulled out. You might be right, but I thought I seen something like 100% almost looked like this when I was maybe, but I inspected. Who knows?
That's pretty neat little, kind of like to grab somebody's attention. That's kind of pretty neat.
Yeah, definitely cool.
So I got one more question. So I ran into something I saw recently, and it was on the mobile device. It was on my iPhone this morning, where there was something that wasn't popping up locations. Like, where it's got to ask you for, so that it has the IP locations or the Google one, where it has to prompt you for your approval to get your location. So for some reason it wasn't working. And like, even though I kept like refreshing, it wouldn't pop up the dialog box on the iPhone to request location so it can actually do the near me.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you have the right setting back there, right? Because there's 3 GeoIP. 2 of those settings, I believe 2 of them don't need user approval. So are your searches working is number 1. And have you already accidentally clicked do not allow? So here I'm just on Chrome and I know that
And I may have to go back in, and I'm wondering if that's maybe what I did, because there was no way I cleared out my browser I'm gonna have to go back and
But
double
was it
check.
actually working? You know, so see, if it's not working and it's not finding your location on Near Me, well then, yeah, there's a problem. Now, I don't know how to do it on phone, Brandon, but I do know that right here, I can do it on desktop all day long. So if I accidentally click block, I can always reset those permissions. And again, on
Yeah, I'm
phone,
gonna have to look on my iPhone. It may be something with that because yeah, when I click on it, it says you haven't given rights yet. Is what the dialog box is popping up to be able to locate your location.
I
So I'm
agree.
like, shit, how do I clear it? So I deleted all the pages. So I'm gonna have to go through it and try to figure it out.
Even better, look on a friend's phone, look on a kid's phone, a partner's phone, anything like that. If it works, then you know it's just phone, right? If not, then see if it actually works. Because again, there are two options in there that don't ask for permission, right? It just bases it on something a little bit less, but doesn't allow, I forget what setting it is, man. I can go.
And I remember the API, or there's IP one and then there's the Google one.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
so there's three: GeoIP and Google AppI and
Right.
something else. But yeah, definitely check those settings as well, and then try to reset it. Perfect. And if you have any problems, man, you can always reach out to the ListingPro support team. To find me, let's talk about that a little bit, right? So overnightcoder.com. I wish I had time to redo the site, but trust me, the contact page works. Which is, I mean, I just keep getting contacts over and over and over from clients. This has got, unfortunately, it's outdated. I don't update this. I don't have a portfolio site. I just, again, with these videos and our great community, people just flooded me with work. I do this for a living, as well as ListingPro has an awesome customization department. Sam will post the link. I don't have that right offhand, but he'll post that down there too. If you have support, try to use your support, if it's valid. Some people are asking about, why their site all of a sudden blanked out, log in, there's 50 extra plugins. Support can't help with that. They're going to tell you to clear those plugins, redo a backup. And I mean, so like Stacy's got a legitimate weird type of issue that's support. But if you have any customization problems, they can definitely help you out with that as well, or need help or style and design, or I encourage everybody to learn your own style and design, but if not, both teams will do it as well. So some of the other things, just before we go, think of your last questions, because we'll finish up here in a minute, is my YouTube channel. If you guys aren't familiar with it, we're going to be doing these webinars weekly. Oh my God, I hate when it shows all the things I've been watching. And of course, there's stuff for the kids and COVID. And I love that part. But yeah, so the YouTube channel here, whoops, I should have just did this. I don't know why I did that. Has a lot of valuable information. Some of our previous talks, we're going to mute that, don't worry. But things like style and design went over really well. I know they don't have tons of views, probably because Sam says they don't do great SEO on these. But really key, like monetization was a good one, SEO and optimization, style and design. And then there's a bunch of ideas and things like, getting the most out of your business directory. But I do have some other ones. So if you're new with, actually, you know what? Nobody in here is new with, so I'll skip that. But the creating a business directory in under 2 hours, that is starting to get a lot of traction on it. Updating your theme, if you have any problems with that, this is a 4-minute video that shows you how to do a proper update without losing anything. But yeah, if you have any questions, definitely reach out. The Facebook groups, I think most of you guys, I'm not seeing everybody in there, but like Joe, I'm not sure if you're already in there, Miraz, but I know the rest of us are. So one that I can recommend is the main group, ListingPro user group. You can get an idea of what's already going on in there, as well as other people's questions, comments, what people are working on, which again, I told you in the beginning was key for me. Even though I want to say I know everything, I find new ideas and styling, new ideas and just iterations, people trying plugins that actually do work. And then of course updates. You want to know if there's security updates. So I stay in these groups, even if you don't use Facebook. Join as an egg, as long as you get approved. Just keep track of what's going on. Secondary group we have is my group, ListingPro theme, almost 1,200 members. Not as big as the first group, but again, this is just I built this for freelancers. So people have ideas that they want to sell things. And we've approved them. I just wanted a place where they could actually do that. ListingPro, I think the main group now allows that as well. But that was the focus, I think, what, a year and a half ago. They weren't allowing freelancers to like say, hey, this is what we do. Why don't you sign up for this? Or we created a plugin that does this. Now I know that the main group is definitely supporting that. So that's super cool. Wish I hadn't started this group, but I have a really good group here as well. So working on a third group, which I won't spend too much time, but everything built directories. So I've got some people that, you know, you always got those people like, oh man, we're not using ListingPro, we're doing this. I'm just like, look, man, I got a group for you, man. It just talks about directory and how to grow your business directory. Not really promoting that to you guys, just letting you know it's an option out there where we're basing it on directory life. So whether you're using this or another program, we'd love to just hear your thoughts and grow as a team. As this is how we grow, right here. These webinars and seminars and sessions, you know, we fix problems, we find solutions, we give ideas so that all of us can grow as a whole. Stacy, asking for ideas. I have thousands of listings, do not have an image for the business. I do not want to use the default. I'm making several default people grooming restaurant images, but they don't represent the actual business. Any other ideas? I do have an idea. You might not like it, but I had a guy that is launching a wedding website, and on his wedding website, in his import, he imported it by category, and each one of his categories had an image that he created. So in his, I don't want to give away his website name, but he had his website name there, and then he said, you know, photographers, and had a photographer photo. That way, anything that he was scraping would do by, because his list was category, he just manually inputted that image, and of course, it just duplicated it on 2,000 of his listings. So that's one option. Default image is just for a fallback. It's not doing it by category. It's just saying, hey, you know, it's this is the default if they don't have one. You could probably, I don't know how easy it would be because I haven't done it, but you could probably tap into the coding and say, hey, if it doesn't have an image, instead of using the default image, use the category image, right? But then that's just dog grooming, right? I don't know that that's gonna, I don't know that. I'd like the import idea. But just a thought, maybe there's some other thoughts after this. I'll message you if I think of anything else. Last call, any questions? If not, it sounds like we're gonna leave on time. If not, I'll stay later, but any other questions over here?
Yeah, I have a question about the map for different categories. How can you change that?
Yeah, so that is, where are we at? Oh shoot, I don't have it open. Let me just find my save in San Diego. Don't look. Bam. I really should do that off screen, huh? That's all right, it's loading here. I'm not sure what's going on with my server. So for different category icons, you want to use the listings categories. And each category that you add will have 3 different locations. And they tell you exactly what they're used for. So category icon, this is for your archive and search page. And you know, the archive and search page would be like a group of listings and the search. This one is, I technically don't use this. This is for when you're dropping in the section for icon boxes. This would show up there. And then the category banner is just a category banner that goes across to the top of the page. So I think you're looking for this first option. And you want to set that for each one of your categories. So if I were to go into apartments and do an apartment or a home type, you know, a home type image, that would show up when I'm looking at my archive page, my group of listings, as well as inside the listing. Now, I do believe that you have to turn off the setting. Oh my God, remind me where it's at. You know, there was a time I knew where all of these were at. Oh, custom icon for, so make sure you have this disabled. I think that this has to be disabled. And again, that was listing general. If not, you're going to use one default icon, which is set up like this. So I disable that and say, hey, I want to use my own. Does that help?
Yeah, because I did it before, but I didn't disable it, so it didn't work. So now it may work. And for the style too, here for the select slider type, what is it? I couldn't get to know what it is because I changed it and nothing changed.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Let's just take a look, man. I have listing style too. It might only work for, and I normally can tell you what all those settings do. I don't use that. I don't use it. I know I tested it. I probably got it in the video when I first, but this is listing grid style 3, and I have a specific slider type here. I'm assuming that would change that, but I don't, again, I just don't use that functionality. Let's switch it over to slider style 3. Actually, what was below that? So this is allowing me to select my own height, right? So style 2, let's just do 900 and see if we see a change. Nope. Interesting. Buddy, I'll have to get back to you on that one. Yeah, I thought it might not work for listing grid types. Matter of fact, you know what? The style might say, so I am on listing style 3, not here, but grid style. So here, what if I change it here? I don't know. I don't mess with that. It's really weird. Maybe Sam can tell you. It's not doing anything for me either.
What was that? I'm sorry, I was
This
trying to
option
reach
right
out.
here,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, the option on my screen that I've never used, we can't get this to do anything. What is this?
Select style or type 3. It's not working. Like it's not changing.
I'm in
Style
listing
doesn't change.
general, right? So just the general
Okay.
listings and select slider type. So this isn't doing anything for us. I do notice that 2 allows me to change my height, but this isn't, we don't even know where this is at. That's funny. I've been working with this team for 3 years, man, and I know where everything goes.
Gallery.
I know what it does. So we can't get it to work. But we'll come back to you, man. I'm not sure. Who was that, by the way?
Abdullah.
Abdullah, man, we got you in contact, man. I'll let you know. That's pretty embarrassing, man. I don't know what I honestly don't know what it does. I mean, it's definitely on the listing general page, right?
There's a lot of things in there. Yeah, you're not quite sure. And it's just kind of like with it, trying to figure out what do they do.
So the funny thing is, I actually did a video and I went over everything. It was my first video. I think it's got like 30,000 views. And I went over all the features, but I can't even remember, like, I don't even remember seeing that or not adjusting it in the video. So a lot of things, I promise you, I know about 99% of this theme, but I think that what happens is I don't use some of these features on almost all my designs. And at some point you just, you know, we don't use them. So it's not that I wasn't interested, like appointments, Reserva and TimeKit. I've never used those, right? Because I'm not purchasing Reserva or TimeKit. And it's like, I don't, yeah, technically I couldn't give you any help on either one of those. I know support can, you know, but it's not something I wasn't interested in buying third-party integration for that.
One more question for the menu and homepage. When I change the banner layout, it has something like a background that I put transparent, but it's still showing up.
I'm sorry. So on the background image for the homepage.
Yeah, I changed the layout, and for the menu, I put the background for the menu transparent, but it's still showing up.
So you're here. Have you cleared your cache? So header. So background color right here. Have you've turned this setting off as well? So taking off the transparent or adding the transparent, and then making sure your color is solid, right? So try with a red, and then just put it. You can always put it back to whatever you had, but you know, red is just going to be a real big definition to me if I were to switch this and then refresh.
Like shadow. Can you go to my website? I can show you better.
And which one? Which? Oh, this one didn't change, right? Saudi help.
Yeah.
Mine is also not working. Mine is probably cached though. I have some silly cache on Cloudways. All right, so on this one, you're saying, oh. So the background, you have it as transparent, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that same issue because like when I was trying to do the using that new plugin that came in with the attorneys one, I was running into that.
But what is the issue? The transparency here or the transparency here?
The one on the menu, the black type.
So if that doesn't work, man, customize it, right? So sometimes if it's caching, if it's whatever the case may be, but can you just go in here and hard code that? Like, I don't like to fight with things, right? And you shouldn't have to do that. I would have to see the background. Oh, I do see it's transparent. What is it? Oh, hey. It's transparent, but it's not transparent. Yeah, man. Interesting. So that would be the header overlay. Then is that? Oh, hey, here you got one. So I'm not sure where this file is because I've never seen that before, but it looks like you're having issues here because that's not fully trained. Oh, hey, that's the whole thing. Message me on Facebook, man. I'll take a deeper look without blocking everybody out, and then we'll post the solution in the chat or in the Facebook group. That way, if anyone needs to see they're having the same issue. I'm currently not having that issue, but it looks like you just got a different overlay here on the top somewhere. So whether that was custom coded, whether somebody dropped it in your parents' customized CSS, I think you had a couple people working in there, or you and maybe somebody else. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just something we got to take a closer look at and then find a solution for.
It's only when I change this layout. But the other layout for the banner, it works perfect. But this layout,
that's something to bring up. So the styling of this banner is automatically adding different transparency. So yeah, that's probably just hard coded somewhere. So I just figure out where it was hard coded at. Inspect again. I have to find it. I don't want to make everything go through.
The position to absolute, it worked, but on the inner pages, it just like the header for the inner pages, it went away. And even for the search page, you can't search anything or like the filters.
Wait, what? I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that?
I mean, for the position for the overlay, yeah, I put absolute. It worked for the home page, but when I go to the inner pages, like the search page, you can't do a search or anything because the category and the location and the filters, they disappear.
Wait, they're still here.
No, I took it out. But when I put that code, it worked for the home page, but it didn't work for the inner pages.
Again, man, I probably have to look at that in depth. I can't tell from the front end aspect.
Tim, just want to let you know that style 3 is actually applicable for certain styles for what you call, we have few different listing styles. So you need to probably select like the first listing style. So if you go to listing details, you maybe change the listing style and then select the style 3.
That makes sense.
It will work. I know it's not very obvious.
Yeah, so maybe that, yeah.
We need to add some description over there for users.
No problem.
Sorry, guys.
Abdullah, get with one of. Oh yeah, that definitely changed it. That was so on style 1. I can change. So to answer the previous question, perfect, Sam. Thank you so much. What we said was, if you have a listing, what is it? Listing archive? No, listing detail. Listing detail style, and I don't know exactly which ones it works on yet. Of course, we could all play around with it. But I had listing style 3. When I changed it over to listing style 1 and save changes, and then went back to the question that you guys asked, which was, hey, what does this thing do? Well, it did. So now I see the 900 difference, right? This is the 900 pixels high. Normally, it never would look like this. And it's got a specific type of style. I'm going to change that to 300, just so you can see that, yes, now that's actually working. And again, I'm not sure which listing grids it actually works on, but this one, you can see the complete difference on the style there. I'm assuming if we change over some other styles, you'll see that as well. But again, we're not specific if it only works on listing grid style 1. That doesn't look like it did much, but again, it could work on another one. So super awesome. Thanks for that information, Sam. That cleared that up. And then Abdullah, it sounds like we got a lot of just looking around and fixing transparency. Again, I won't charge you for anything like that. We're just going to take a look and try to remove this transparency. and kind of set it up like that. I think a lot of it has to do with like definitely taking a look at those theme options. It's not that I don't believe you, but the first thing I would say is, the banner. I'd love to just see that and just see if it's set all the way down. And if so, I know what you're saying, that just with this layout that you're getting that. So just fix the layout, right? If we could hard code that, which means just finding exactly where it's at and just fix it that way. That way you can keep that banner stuff.
Appreciate it.
Sorry, that wasn't more specific, but I've been running a solid header for a while now. I don't know why. I prefer the solid header, but that's just my personal preference. Actually, I don't think I do that everywhere. Get editable mockups. Nice. So
Yeah, I think Tim, this is very useful. People who want to personalize their images toward the website.
cool. Yeah. The ListingPro has a nice service right now where they're doing actually that link didn't work. Oh yeah. No, actually it's just a question. What's that first link, Sam? That didn't work.
Which one?
Oh, maybe it did. Maybe it did.
Yeah, I just shared the preview as well, and the PSD, download PSD to edit. That's the one that
Nice.
hopefully let you download the PSD.
Nice. All right. Sweet.
And Tim, I have one more question. You remember when you mentioned before that you helped someone with their website when they uploaded a picture, it made like at least 10 copies in the database. I have the same issue. How can I fix that?
That sounds like you need an image optimization plugin, or you need to fix your image optimization. The conversation that I have all the time is Jetpack, right? I've seen a site where Jetpack was saving 32 copies of an image because nobody ever configured it. So what you need to do is configure something like what are some Imagify. There's a list of plugins that you can use for that, but make sure when you go in that you're only saving the image sizes that users can actually use. Let me give you an example. This is 372 by 240. This is something they can upload. The search page, this is, I want to say 92 by 92. I'd have to right click and make sure. This is something that they can use, but it's coming from a 372 by 240 image anyway. So keep that in mind. What other images can they, so you've got two so far. If you're using this style, how big are these pictures? Right click inspect and get that size. Those should be the only, mobile. So now you have 4 images. And you don't have to use all 4. Like I might not use this size because this could be real close to 372 by 372. I'm happy with that being close, right? But what people are doing is they're downloading those plugins and never limiting it to those uploads, right? That people can upload in. As a web designer, when I build out my pages, and Scott will probably disagree with me because he sees that I don't do this all the time, but I usually optimize my own images before I put them in there, right? On my personal website, I optimize my banner twice, and then I put it in there. But what can users upload, right? And that's where those image plugins, Imagify is what I've been using, but there are plenty that I've used in the past. I just can't think of any that will streamline how many uploads or how many different copies of your picture will go in and what sizes do you actually want, right? There's no reason for them to upload something that's 1920 by 1200. Like you're not going to use it. So why not shrink it down into the 4 sizes you will? Hopefully that helps, man. Image optimization, grab a plugin and just make sure that you can choose your settings there or choose your image sizes.
And for the pictures that are already embedded, should I delete them or the plugin is gonna delete them or something?
That's a different question, man. I don't know of any, and I'm sure there's got to be. Like somebody said, the image saver or image something had like any not used size it would delete. I haven't found anything that does it, and I tried a few plugins to try to do some cleanup, but I couldn't find anything.
Okay, got you. Thank you very much.
Wait, what else? Importing and exporting could work, right? If you had a staging server and you exported your listings, you'd have to actually redo the site, right? I'm not saying redo it, but like import your theme options, import your styling design. If you only exported your listings with images, that would have a clean install with only the images you need. That sucks, but I mean, that's one way to get around having 90,000 images. What else? You could, I think that's it. I mean, you can't just delete those images in the back end because they are being used in different sections. And then when I looked at them, it was like your normal image name, and then the other ones had like brackets, 300 by 540 or 300 by 200, and to go through, like when I looked at, I want to say it was Terry's site. What? No, maybe it wasn't. Somebody's site was huge with images, and there was no way I could look at a file manager and try to clean those up. And that's when I started I tried finding those plugins like, hey, this image isn't being used, go ahead and remove it. But it wasn't, maybe it was I had to grab Pro, because I kind of remember something like that where it wouldn't look at my downloads, it would only look at my media library. And of course, you don't see them here, right? If you just go to media on the back end, it's not going to show you multiple images. So that really sucks. That's a WordPress deal.
There was a new plugin that I started using to change them to the WebP files, which is really nice. And what it's doing, it almost puts like a symbolic link in it, right? So it'll resize them and use the new format and then shrink them down. And it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. So go ahead and shout out that. I mean, if you remember the plugin name, if not, Imagify.
I'll tell you what it is. Give me one second.
Imagify does that as well. The only thing is, Imagify is like up to 200 megabytes. It's free, and then the pricing is like
this one was free. Yeah, this is free.
This one you're going to end up paying $9.99 a month. So yeah. And I don't know if you start off with this, but yeah, by the time everybody's actively doing stuff on your site, $9 is one listing, right? So one person adds a paid listing, you paid for it for the month. So either way, actually, hopefully you guys have subscriptions on it and you pay for it for a lifetime, because that business never removes the subscription. I've had a lot of success, I'll tell you, with people never removing their subscription, which has been really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first started out, subscriptions really didn't make, and this was like 3 years ago, right? Subscriptions really didn't make much sense to me. And then now, $9.99 isn't anything, right? I can't feed my family of 6 for $9.99. But now I look at my Stripe account, and matter of fact, I look at my Stripe account. I'm gonna pull up some stuff so everybody can just see what I'm talking about. My subscriptions are banging through the roof. So how can I sort this? Just by, well, either way. So from January to February, I got $17,000 in volume. And some of those are definitely web design, but as you can see, the subscriptions are like every month I'm getting $33 from this, I'm getting $50 for this, I'm getting $49 for a plan, I'm getting, and just within the past month, I've had 51 new customers. So, it's building and building. Unfortunately, I still have to work, but it's getting there.
That's awesome, Tim. Congratulations, man. That's pretty good.
I looked at because I just transferred over to Stripe, and I hate PayPal, but I'm doing all my business through Stripe, so I can see a real screenshot, and to be honest, man, for a single guy providing for 6 people, $18,000 in a month and a half, I'm feeling pretty good. It's not always, anybody who runs a web design business will tell you it's not always like this, but subscriptions help out with the consistent pay, right? We've got places like Cloudways. Every time somebody signs up, and it's a great service, so I don't pass my affiliate link most of the time, but when people sign up, I get $50, and they only have to spend 12. So it's one of those things where subscription-based or even affiliate-based, those, it helps out a lot. The directory has been huge for me. And again, so far, with the exception of one guy who I pulled off my payment plan because his card failed every month, nobody has canceled. In the past, since I've started my subscription-based business, I haven't had one person cancel. That's hosting, that's monthly maintenance, that's business plans for directories. So I'm really excited to see how subscriptions have really changed, where I'm at in my career.
And you're not using any Google ads or anything to promote, right? You're just word of mouth mostly.
So that's the crazy thing. I don't even have a portfolio page. I have my Facebook for Overnight Coder, which
I'm talking about Kite. Are you talking about the Kite subscription, the Kite service?
So I don't do any ads or promotion. All mine comes from the SEO traffic. Now, granted, I know a little bit about SEO, and If you were to, I know this is going to be biased because I'm not on an incognito link, but if anybody were to type in kiteboarding directory, well, my site's going to pop up first on Google, you know, and hey, not the advertisement that's up here, but this one pops up every time. And again, I've got something going on with my pricing plans on this page, but I'm about to launch this 5th version. I'm not worried about these pricing plans at the moment. You know, I'm so focused on how I can get more traffic that I've kind of put a pause to existing directories signing up, which I never should have done. But again, my finding time in my workload is crazy. Now, a little bit about SEO, guys. If you were to check out my channel with the Overnight Coder, we gave away a lot of tips. You don't have to be an SEO specialist, but it starts with knowing your keywords, right? And we're not going to go into a whole spill about SpyFu or a whole spill about SEO, but know your keywords, right? We talked, I know most of you guys have heard me say this. I'm a web designer. How can I rank for web design? I can't. But Orlando web design, Cocoa Beach web design, if you can do anything in there and first you have to know that keyword. So I use a popular program or any one of these programs to find my keywords that yes, I can rank for, and they're easy. Like, I'll give you an example. Kiteboarding in Cape Hatteras. That's not what my site is about. My site is about kiteboarding, but kiteboarding in Cape Hatteras, I utilize my blog posts to talk all about kiteboarding in Cape Hatteras. And that's how I'm getting my traffic. I'm using blogs. I'm using, obviously I'm using tools like Ghost SEO, Rank Math on some of my client sites for, you know, hey, what am I missing on a page? Am I missing titles? Do I have enough text? And no advertisements in either my web design business or in my applications for directories. And that's been key for me. Of course, you can do paid ads. I've done a lot of paid ads in the past, not with directories because I don't feel there's a need to, but if you're spending $1 and making $2 back, yeah, dump $100 into it, or dump $10. And if you make $20 back, then if you're not making that ad spend, it's really hard for me to just, you know, 4 kids and a wife. I'm not spending any money on ads. SEO is king right now. So how can you get more traffic, right? So here's some idea forums, Facebook groups. I'm in so many Facebook groups for kiteboarding in my niche. And people say, hey, where can I kite in San Diego? And I'm like, bam. Here's a link, and I just pull up a predefined link that already has it. Now I've got traffic going in. I got businesses looking. So again, just keep that in mind. The key is traffic. On day 1, I didn't have all this traffic. I was begging users to sign up for free. And when I say begging, you know, I mean begging, but yeah, I was posting to everybody. You know, and then once you have that traffic, forget the rest, right? Businesses will want to sign up. But you got to have that mindset. Don't think, hey, how can I make $49 a business listing? How can I grow my website? Now the cool thing is on my website, I don't take in any of my profit, right? I just recycle that profit into something better, right? Buying the Game Press subscription, I know it's going to make money next month. How can I utilize the money that I have to throw back into it, right? Whether it's my time, you know, I spend 10 hours on it, whether it's whatever the case may be. Actually, you know what? I lie. I am taking profit from that now. I think last year I wasn't taking profit. I finally started cutting a side pocket to this.
And Tim, how do you price your plans?
Yeah, so plans are based on your niche, man. I'll give you a great example. If you're doing an everybody niche, like you have everything, you can't charge too much, man. And again, we're not talking about like day 1, but like if you're doing, let's just say you're doing hotels. Hotels have a lot of money. Real estate agents have a lot of money. They can afford $49 a month. In kiteboarding, these guys are making $300 to $500 a lesson, and people take multiple lessons. They can afford $49 a pop. But if you're doing an everybody niche, can a barber, a local barber, we're not talking about my wife's hairstylist, we're talking about a local barber, can they afford $49 a month? Like maybe, but they would have to see what, you know, back in the day, a men's haircut would cost $10. Well, they'd have to get 5 leads to make that profitable. So in a situation like that, you got to think about your niche specifically. What is your competition doing? And then you also have to think about your start time. Although on my kiteboarding site, I would love to have charged $49 off rip. I wasn't there. So I offered it for $9, less than Netflix. Just like Netflix, you notice you keep it every month, right? You just, like, I haven't turned it off even though nobody in my house is watching Netflix anymore because the $15 that I just got upcharged isn't really bothering me. So you have to make it, you know, either worth their while in the start. even free plans is still worth your while. So I always offer a free plan. That way it's my selling piece. Hey, you can sign up for free. Meanwhile, when you get to the pricing plan page, you can see that you don't get lead form access and you don't get all this stuff. But for $9 easy, you can. And that would probably be monthly for me. Now, the next step is, and this is just my selling tactic, there are many other things you could do. You could jump one up to $150 and offer a bunch of other information. For me, I wanted to do something close to the $9, but if you're already thinking about $9, why not pay $10 more, right? So I like to do small gaps like that. Just because it's like, well, shit, you know, like shoot, for $10 more, I can get this. So that's just my selling technique. But again, different people are doing different things. And I also recommend different things. Like I've got one client who wanted to do monthly, but they also wanted to do annually. Easy Finds is a site that we just redesigned. I'll show you his pricing plans, and he actually gets these, which is crazy to me because I wouldn't think people would pay $99 a month. But this guy is offering all these additional things. Well, you get, you know, and he has another business, so he can do these. You get an e-blast, you get a monthly flyer design, you get, you can post a featured article, you get access to his webinars, and he's offering these additional things. Now, when you go to yearly, so you can see his price breakdown, and he's actually getting these type of businesses to sign up. I love this one, free, has almost nothing. And that's the way you want it to be. His yearly is just a copy of these three. But look at this. He's had a business bank sign up for this. And I was like, well, shoot, man, I need the yearly option on mine as well. You know, but the business bank also already got 3 leads when they were, you know, a starting plan for like $19 a month. So why wouldn't they sign up for $1,000? You know, so you got to make it profitable. Do I suggest starting out like this? No. This guy had a directory for the past year, and this is where he's at today.
How did you do the custom plans for the monthly and yearly? Because when I did it in Elementor Pro, it only I could only do the one thing, like monthly or yearly.
Yeah, let me show you. So add listing. So first off, I as great as they did their so this is ListingPro with Elementor Pro. As much as I like the default plans, these are not the default plans. What these are, and you probably already know this, is pricing plans. So the pricing plans on a page, I like to just drag in, you know, the pricing plan template. So I'm not listing pros, right? I'll use this. I'm just going to move this over, and I get one. Oh, that is not right. This is their default. So sorry about that. So this is default. This is what mine looked like, just so I have full control again as a developer. But you'll put in the pricing table or any pricing thing that you have. I'm just going to drag this one over here. I style this up the way I want it. I obviously want it in a column of 3. So I'm sorry. Let me do something different. I'm going to put it up here. I obviously have it in a column of 3, and this is a real quick tutorial, I promise. I style this first one up. I put all my features in it. That way I can just duplicate this multiple times in the other ones. Once I have this, the yearly and the monthly come like this. So I think there's a switcher, but the switcher, you have to use templates. So switcher, maybe it's not called switcher. What is it called? Toggle. Okay, you could do it with a toggle. You know, I actually used Jet Elements, which was a $19 plugin, I think, to get this, but I'll show you a different way, right? So with anything, if you had a switcher, and again, it might be in here, I just don't know what it's called. You could use the toggle, I guess. I think, wait, let me just check. Yeah. So you can definitely use the toggle. Let's drag it down here so it's a little bit different. So after I have these created, I would save these as a template and then just delete it. So I have it saved as a template. And if I save it as a template in Elementor, so on the left-hand side, Elementor, am I on the right site yet? Sorry, templates. I would grab that template shortcode. So let's just say this was the template shortcode, right? So in my toggle, because you can't, you'll see what I mean. So in my toggle, and again, we would do this a little bit differently, right? I'd style these up. I'd say, hey, I want these vertically. This toggle might not do it. I'm sorry, I've got the wrong item in here because I don't want to show you a premium plugin. But what you can do is definitely, if let's just say this was the setup, what I was looking for is probably tabs, where you do one tab here, one tab. Let me just check because now we're getting confusing. Tabs. Yeah. Tabs is it. So sorry. So if I use tabs, I can style these tabs up any way I want, right? I can style them to the center. I can do anything that I want to do there. I can remove the border. I can put, padding around them and have two different styles here. And this is just not using anything but Elementor Pro and ListingPro. Again, I did use Jet Elements to do that switcher, but you could almost design it with this. And then inside of here, the only difference is I had to paste that shortcode because you notice you can't build out something in here with Elementor's builder. But what you can do is paste that Elementor template. And when I review this page, you'll now see those 3 pricing plans that I created. Hopefully that wasn't a little bit, because I had to go over 2 different sections, but just to show you on this one, I actually use, and I'll get the exact, it's Jet Elements, but I can't imagine you want to pay $29 just for a switcher, is exactly what it was called. The switcher was just, it's a little additional, but it allowed me to do left and right. I still had to do the same thing though. You see how this doesn't have an option for content. It says, well, you have a monthly, which is just what I called it. And then I put in a template, and then what template? Well, I just picked a template. But again, the free way to do it with your tools, just exactly the way I showed you. Right. So bam, do something like, well, I pulled in text heading. That's why you're seeing this. But we're starting to lose people. Again, tab 2 is here. And again, that's how you just drag a template into your tabs. You do something like this and just style the crap out of this. I like to remove borders. I like to style this. Stacy, we were hoping these will be every week. Unfortunately, some weeks will definitely change. We want to have 4 or 5 a month, but I don't think we're going to do them like next week. I'll definitely do Saturday, same time. But keep in the Facebook groups or keep in the directory group, because I definitely don't want to do this every Saturday. I realize that some Saturdays I couldn't do anything with the family because we're saving this. Sam, thanks for coming. One example, you use AI for writing a blog, super cool. Sorry, trying to web. Oh, hey, Joe posted that link as well for the convert to media to web page. Super awesome. And that's all I got for you. So hopefully we see you guys next week. If there's any final questions, I'll stick around for another 2 minutes. If not, I will catch you guys next week.
Video?
What's up?
Are you sharing the video?
Yeah, it takes me about a day or 2 to kind of post it and do all the SEO stuff that I'm supposed to be doing that I never do. But did you take a look at my channel?
I subscribe to it.
Perfect, man. I usually post these in chat, but if I don't, it definitely goes up there first. Right, it goes right up on the channel, and then I try to follow up the chat with the video link. But yeah, and there's some really good videos in there where we're just definite on a topic. Those are my favorite. The questions and answers, you can't find anything you need, right? You just listen to an hour and a half, and you're like, okay, maybe that applies to me. With the direct topics, man, those are priceless. Thanks for coming, guys. Anything else? Last little bit. Scott will be in touch maybe this evening or your morning, maybe tomorrow.
I appreciate you guys, man. That's awesome. Let me be part of that.
Yeah, man. Come back with some of those changes. We want to see your website, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely make some changes.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Joe, nice meeting you.
You too.
Stacy.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Abdullah. Hey, buddy.
This site's come a long way. Did you help him out with some of that, or didn't I hear you say that?
Oh, we talked. Me and Abdullah talked a little while. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, right, Abdullah? I don't know. Maybe he stepped away from the computer.
Yeah, about featured listening. I didn't know how to like change them on the specific thing. That's why I put the default fallback image. I left it there.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. I think we covered a little bit of that in this. So I'd like to have default for like, how do you can't do a default for every listing, but like default by category would be really cool, right? We'd all use that.
Yeah, I like your idea about when you import them, you do a specific category. I'm gonna start to do that.
Yeah, that worked really well. As well as what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. We've gotten so far into different designs and I've done some different things, but I think that one just made sense. Like it was super easy to use. I didn't realize you could do this in free till just now. That whole tab thing. It's like, well, shoot. I do like the switcher though, but Jet Elements, I think it's $29 just for that single plugin. I don't find it worth like Jet Elements. I'll share my screen for anybody who's stuck around. Share screen. Let me just pull it up. they have a bunch of plugins here that utilize Jet Elements. Oops, typo. That utilize different features, but like for one feature, I'm not going to spend 29 bucks. The Jet Element is 24 bucks. But these are the things it can do, right? Countdown timers. This thing's going to switch. Testimonials, team members, pricing tables. This is a really cool format of a pricing table, right? Pricing lists for, I don't know that you can integrate that with ListingPro, but maybe on your personal. It just does so much, you know, and fortunately enough, this set of tools actually has a bunch of other tools you can use, like Lottie files. What's the animated? I think Elementor now does that, but the animated text where you can say, hey, discover 45 elements or jet engine elements, and all of a sudden 45 switches to 46, it switches to 47. So really kind of cool there, but they've got just a bunch of stuff that you can animated text widget. Like this one's super cool. I don't know if they have the demo working. Oh yeah, wait, like this. So, you know, search for your next restaurant, search for your next shop, search for your next, you know, whatever. So really cool tools that I just expand on Elementor. And of course they have the works, so you can do pretty much anything. Cool pop-ups, cool reviews. Actually, that's not going to integrate, sorry. But yeah, super cool. You know, another one, what is that? Steroids, Woo Steroids? Something like that. That's a good plugin too. I don't think I've got the right link, but it does a lot of cool custom. No, this is definitely not it. Never mind.
The one that Paul uses?
Everybody mentions it, man. I just forget what it is.
Boy Steroids, BOI Steroids or something. BOI Steroids.
Oh boy, there it is.
Oh boy, there it is. Yeah.
So this one has some really cool, and of course, you know, you can get the free version. It has a bunch of stuff, but you have to take the time to use it. Like putting text sideways, if you want to put text sideways here. I wish they had some examples, but I won't be able to find them. Just maybe images, but really cool stuff that you can. I mean, really cool stuff to enhance your Elementor elements. Now, of course, I'm not going to show anything like this. But either way, I'm out of here. You guys have fun. We'll see you next week.
All right, brother. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Laters.